Om. 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 Sairam, sorry, I was the culprit for the echo. We are going to start the study circle today with question and answers as requested by everyone. I have a few questions which a couple of people have forwarded. But I thought we can take up the sorry. Okay. So there are a couple of questions which have come. I don't know whether we can start taking questions from people who have gathered here, or we can read, whichever is okay. Sairam, there was one auntie who actually wanted to share some thoughts. Auntie Manibashyam, are you online? I guess she is not there, so we will, because she had some comments from last time, but she could not speak up. So I had told her that she could share her thoughts today, but when she joins, she can share her thoughts. We will, maybe we'll start with the question which is available so that people get warmed up and then we can have questions. I hope it goes well. Sairam, Sister Dushi, if you're around, please read the question.
Yes, Sairam. Last Sunday, Brother Arno said that though Swami said that anyone can chant Vedic mantras, if it is chanted wrongly, can have adverse effect, and hence it is better to practice safer sadhanas like singing bhajan instead of chanting Vedic mantras. My question is, since Gayatri is also a Vedic mantra and accepted as the most important and powerful of all the Vedic mantras, to be safe, should devotees avoid chanting that too?
Okay, thank you very much for the question, sister. I think because the question is based on what I have said, the statements I made, maybe I will clarify that and then maybe we can have a discussion on that. I think everyone says Swami has told everyone should chant Gayatri. It's a very widespread quotation from everyone. Generally, people say that because they've either seen a clip of Swami saying something, or they have heard somebody else saying that Swami has said it. But I think a serious student would find out for themselves, what did Swami say? Where did Swami say? When did Swami say? I think it's very important. Swami has talked about Gayatri in various discourses. And I think that is the right thing for us to do. So I think the point which I tried to make was, for example, let's take Gayatri. If you take one of the discourses where Swami asked everyone to learn Vedas and so on, that was the first World Conference in 1968. In the first discourse Swami gave on that, during that conference, that is when he basically addressed all the people from everywhere in the world. There he's talking about the need for everyone learning Vedas, everyone learning to chant the Gayatri, and so on. But in the same discourse, if you go back and look at, I think it's May 16th, 1968, for anyone who would like to take that discourse and read. Swami basically says Swami actually quotes a scholar by the name Leadbetter. I don't know how many of you know of him. He's the one who established what's called the Theosophical Society. But he's a Westerner, but he settled in India, and he was very devout Sanatana. He was a devotee of a follower of Sanatana Dharma, and means they also worked on religious integration and so on, finding commonality. But the thing is, Swami says, Leadbetter said that research has proven that when Gayatri is chanted incorrectly, the result is darkness which engulfs us. And then Swami says, if it is chanted properly, it spreads goodness and happiness everywhere around us. Swami has made this statement. So he says, if it's chanted incorrectly, it creates darkness, and if it's chanted right, it creates wellness and prosperity and auspiciousness everywhere. Then Swami goes on to say, you all should test it out in your own lives. Okay, you all should test it out in your own life. Then Swami goes on to say, what is the significance of Ramanama? He says Ramanama has all the powers. It can solve all the problems also. So if we look at it carefully, in my view, Ramanama is a very simple name, which anyone can chant with not too much problem. But Swami also was interested that we all learn the Gayatri, we learn the Vedas, because that is the way we will preserve that knowledge. So from this, and there's another place where Swami has spoken that everyone should learn Vedas. I think that's also something which Swami is talking about Rudram, when Swami called a few foreign students who were studying in primary school and made them chant. There are a few occasions where Swami has done, and Swami has told everyone should learn from all countries. There's no bar for anyone to learn. So Swami has said everyone is qualified to learn the Vedas, chant the Gayatri, learn to chant the Gayatri. So this is my interpretation or my understanding of what Swami has said. See, Swami says we have to practice and test it out for ourselves. So any mantra or any chanting, we have to first test it out and see, is it changing me? If for example, just like if you got a new recipe, we have never cooked that recipe, or we have tried and it was not even good. But we can't, have a feast and call everyone and start serving everyone, because first we have to master that recipe. Because only then it will benefit us as well as others. So the same thing goes with any sadhana. If the sadhana is not benefiting me, how can I stand up and say this sadhana benefits everyone? That is just parroting somebody else's talk. I can give another equivalence. So for example, today medicine is only allowed for some category of people to learn as a subject and practice as a doctor. So if someone says anyone can, no, there's no bar for anyone to practice as a doctor. So once that statement is made by someone, can anyone jump in and start opening clinic and start dispensing medicine? No. Can we just read on the net a couple of things and start practicing medicine? No way. We have to go through a rigorous study. In the discourse in which Swami has said everyone should learn Vedas, Swami has clearly made a statement. As a prerequisite, people who want to learn Vedas should learn Sanskrit. Okay, so the thing is, any course in this world will have prerequisites. You have to have a qualification in terms of academic caliber. So what Swami said is, if it's open, don't think you cannot learn. But so that is the first thing of how can we learn? Yes, everyone can learn. Then the second thing comes, chanting is, one thing is for me to chant at home and for my personal benefit. One thing is a chant in public so others are hearing that. The reason when we chant in public that everyone is going to listen to that means that much more care has to be taken how much perfection we attain, because people are going to listen to that. They may not be able to chant, but when they listen, they should hear it with the right intonation, with the right pronunciation. Only then it can have benefits. So there are a couple of things. One is we have to practice and see that our life, our person, in our own life, we have improved. We have progressed. There is peace and calm in our own self by practicing that. That is personal practice. And then we can chant. But even when we chant, we need to know it should be perfect. It's like any if you are a musician, you have to practice. Anyone can sing bhajans at home, no bar. But when you are going to lead a bhajan in a public place, it should be such that everyone should be able to be inspired by that. Until we reach that stage, and until somebody says you have reached that point, you may not have the qualification to reach that state of chanting in public where everyone is going to listen and benefit. So those are my comments based on whatever I have tried, whatever I've learned during my Balavikas time in Parthi and now. These are my thoughts, and by studying Swami's discourse. So that's what I said. So the thing is, sometimes we say Gayatri is all powerful, let us do it. Swami has said, yes, it is powerful. But how we approach it, how do we learn, how do we practice it, and how do we chant is a very, very rigorous process. And I think we should not take it lightly. That is my personal view. That is why Swami has given bhajans for everyone. Swami says, bhajans, you can't go wrong. That is why bhajans are held every day, twice a day in Parthi. That is, you don't have the problem of Vedas in that. It's just like electricity means you have to be a licensed electrician to touch the wiring and do wiring at home. You can try in your house, do it yourself, but that does not give you license to practice outside of your home. So that is my understanding. So I think I will stop here. My point was, I'm not saying avoid chanting. Avoid chanting in public until you learn it properly. If you have not learned it properly, avoid it. And then you can do things which you are very comfortable. Whatever you have mastered, whatever you have practiced, I think that can be applicably practiced. Those are my thoughts. Don't think that this is it or this, right? That's one opinion based on my knowledge. I will open it up for anyone to comment on this, please. Saira.
Saira, brother. So we believe your word. We believe in your words, no doubt. I personally agree with your standpoint. But in practice, all over the world and in Canada, people who have not mastered Sanskrit are reciting Gayatri, at least Gayatri. Not only Gayatri, in Veda chanting, Rutram and other things. So why this Sai organization has not stepped in to say that that we cannot do like this? I have not asked this question actually. I didn't ask this question, but I personally believe your words, and I seldom recite Gayatri also because I know I cannot pronounce it correctly. So, but please explain how this Sai organization is tolerating this type of things. Saira.
Saira, brother, I do not want to see. First of all, when you say organization is us.
Yeah.
You and myself are the organization. It is not just people who are holding positions. The thing is, people can get selected, elected, whatever happens, people can land in positions. But that does not mean we have to follow them. We have to follow Swami. The thing is, what I am that's my personal. See, I have learned Vedas. Okay, I have chanted in front of Swami, but I will never teach Vedas. I have learned Sanskrit, I have learned the Vedas because I am not very confident of the intonation. Pronunciation, maybe yes. I am not very confident of my intonation, so I will not. I am not confident enough to teach others. I can clarify doubts, but I don't want to be in the business of teaching because that is my personal view. And I think Swami is very particular. For example, even Swami conducted the Atirudra Mahayagna. You can, there's a talk by somebody called Vinay Kumar from Bangalore who organized the first Atirudra Mahayagna. Swami wanted every priest who was attending that to be tested. These are people who have gone to Veda Padashala and learned how to chant Vedas. But Swami went through the process of selecting them. And, Swami had gave an interview to them. And Swami gave some instructions on how it should be chanted. When Swami goes to such, because that is the reality. The thing is, Swami has told these things. Swami has tried his best to teach. Unless we make a sincere effort, sometimes we may be doing disservice. Even this Swami has told. Swami has told people without having the sufficient mastery, understanding, trying to propagate something is they bring great harm to the world. So I am not going to comment on people in positions. For example, they are, and I think I'm part of the SSIU and I should not be commenting. They have 24-hour Akhanda Gayatri chanting.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Prashant Nilayam during Swami's presence? Ever an effort has been set up like that? Never. But the thing is, they will think, a few people sit together and think, oh, it's a good idea. And they pick a couple of quotations from Swami and then they say, okay, we can chant. That is amateurs trying to do something without properly informed. People who are making these decisions have not studied what Swami has said. That's what I can say. That is why I said it is only my opinion. People have to know. See, spirituality is a very serious subject. Veda learning happens over. People dedicate their entire life to learn the Vedas. So I am not saying you should not chant at home. You chanting at home is your own personal thing. And every devotee can learn. Swami you have Swami's Gayatri available. People at home can listen to it and try to repeat and try to learn. I don't think it is not, it's okay. But you should not chant aloud in public. Is my personal view. And Swami, pardon, sister?
No, Sairam brother. The global Gayatri was chanted the 24 hours by they put the recording of Swami. So just I wanted to say that.
I understand, but the thing is, you are going with the assumption that everyone who signs up is chanting right. See, for example, we are doing that so that we think the world is going to benefit. Okay, that is what I'm saying is, if I don't know medicine, if I don't know to do, medicine, and if I say I'm going to practice, that's the problem. That's all I'm saying. I'm not. See, Swami has already given you the right tools, which is applicable for everyone. My question is, my point is, maybe people say, why don't we should be confined to what Swami has told? We can do, what we think is good. I think at the individual level, anyone is. As an organization, because what happens is we bring down the quality of the Vedas. Because once people start learning something wrong, we are perpetuating that forever. See, the Brahmins are very, very particular that it should be, even after thousands of years, no dilution, no incorrectness has gotten into, because they keep it very, very stringent in how you learn, how you practice. But if we are going to take something up in public way, we are doing harm. I mean, that's my personal opinion based on what something. So I can send you the discourses, people can read. Unfortunately, people have not taken studying Swami's teaching seriously. Before we learn to practice seriously, we have gone out to practice in public, and I think we are just fooling ourselves and everyone else if we do that. That is my personal view. Again, I will stop here. I'm not going to say anything further. But people may say, it's not. Everyone can listen, and everyone can chant within the confines of their home. No one is going to stop, and who has the right to stop? But when we do in public, I think we have a responsibility as a group to decide, is this good, and are we doing it properly? That's my point. No one should take my word. You all should do your own independent study of what Swami has told, and then come to your own conclusions. We are not in a position to influence the organization's decisions or choices. It means individuals come together and make a choice, depending on their level of understanding and their belief also, I would say. And some people say, you do it with love, everything is good. But then my question would be, why can't we just say Sai Ram for 24 hours? And why do we have to say Gayatri? Because in Sai Ram, you can't go wrong. But in Gayatri, you can go wrong. So, I think I will stop here, sister. People actually, we should not be even entertaining this question, because my statement is not, so if people want, we can take up those discourses of Swami, whereas Swami has spoken about these things, and then study, and then decide, how do we understand this? Why has Swami made these statements? How are we to learn this? But there are a couple of organizations like the European Union. There's something called Veda Union, which was established in Europe by a few Europeans, but they have taken it very seriously. They know whoever is running it, they have learned Sanskrit, they learn the Vedas properly, and they lead a very rigorous, disciplined life, which is required of a person who is learning Vedas. So there are people who have taken up seriously. That's all. My point is, I will stop here. Okay.
Sairam, brother, could you please repeat the date or month of the discourse that you mentioned, 1960 and 68?
So I think it was May 16, 1968. I hope my memory is okay. I can send it around for anyone who's interested. Some of the discourses where Swami has spoken about the Vedas, Gayatri, and so on. Where he has talked about prerequisites, what we should be careful. Okay.
Brother, just I wanted to clarify your statement, please. You are trying to say when we are chanting Vedas in public only, we're supposed to be very careful. But the SSI or the global Gayatri, the 24 hours, it goes on with Swami's chanting. So people following is like a personal sadhana. Is that my understanding is right on that, please?
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, I don't want to comment, sister. The thing is that I've already said what I have to say. You have clarified. That's good.
Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, it seems like it's a very controversial subject, and it's somewhat making me nervous now. Next time I chant, I'm going to be maybe nervous about the pronunciation, the intonation, and everything. However, I just want to share a short experience of my own personal life. I grew up in Calcutta, in Bengal, and they do something there called Saraswati Puja. In all the schools, university, all educational institutions, it's done on Vasant Panchami, Sri Panchami, which is usually around January, February, around that time. Right from small, like nursery school, a small school to big institution. And they do something called Pushpanjali. Now, I don't know, are there any Bengalis in this group here? They're wonderful people. I love the Bengali language. However, in their Shabdavali, there are certain vowels and consonants that are missing. So, for example, for Saraswati, they say Saraswati. For Pushpanjali, they will say Pushpanjali. So one of the, it's actually quite famous, the Saraswati Pushpanjali, and then there is one sentence that comes, Veda Vedanta Vedanga Vidyasthane E Vyaja. But when the Bengalis say, they said Vedo Vedanto Vedango Vidyasthane E Bhajo. I can say this because I'm just, from childhood I heard it, I grew up in Bengal. So the pronunciation was different, the words were told differently, and you think that the correct meaning didn't come through or the correct message, it could be distorted. But the intention, the devotion behind it, and the dedication is so intense that now I'm a South Indian. My parents would say, why are you chanting it like a Bengali? Why do you say Veda, Vedanto, Vedango, Vidyasani? Say Veda, Vedanta, Veda. But all my classmates would say it in the Bengali pronunciation. So I was hearing that, I was saying that. So was I wrong in saying it? I don't know, but I felt that no matter how you say it, it's the with which you're saying the intention, the dedication. So I've left Bengal, it's been many years, and now I still keep in touch with the Bengali community, and I go whenever they do Saraswati Puja, and it brings back memories. And then I still have this conflict in my mind as to should I pronounce this way or the other way. But I think that it's perhaps in the end, what would matter the most, perhaps, is your deep consciousness and your intention behind chanting. Are you blindly chanting, or are you chanting with a purpose and a meaning and with depth in your chanting? Sorry, it was long. Sairam.
Sairam, sister.
Sairam, can I say something, please?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Because that's what the Veda we listen to by Guru. Those writing is not written by letters. It was Karna Parambara. You have to listen from your Guru and learn. So the Guru can watch what you are chanting. He can correct you immediately. Not to learn from the sentence by the book. I guess so. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, brother.
Saira, my 2 cents, please. There's a saying in Tamil, Manamadu Sammayanal, Mandaramadu Thevai. I may be wrong. Something like if we say, I don't know, any mantra or Thevaram, with purity in our heart and with good intention, any prayer will reach God. That's my first point. And second one, also in another saying in Tamil, Tanaliya Chingalam Tan Pudariki Sedamand. So if we don't want to learn unknown, we are Tamils and Bengalis, non-Brahmins. If Veda is by Brahmins language, why should we bother learning language rather than religion or spirituality? There is enough spirituality hymns and scriptures in Tamil and Bengali and all other languages. Why should we spend time on learning language rather than spirituality? That's my point. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, brother, there are some.
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention one more thing. All Swami's teachings are in English. That is enough for us to follow Swami's teachings. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, brother, there are some comments on the chat.
Please read out, sister. Please read out.
Okay. Brother Sitaram says, believe we should discuss more on what Swami mentioned in the discourses we discussed rather than specific words spoken by Brother Aruno. The statement made would have been contextual and may not suit for a larger discussion, Sairam. And someone named Owner says, yes, I agree with Brother Sitaram. We should discuss about what Swami says than going on about unnecessary things, Saira. The owner says it is not a Brahmin language, it is Sadhana language. We are deviating from our topics, Saira. That's all. So should we take up that discourse one time, Brother Arno, the 1968? Or
Yeah, we can take up the discourse, sister.
okay.
That's why, I already, said, unless we have it in front of us, we should not discuss. But, to the extent possible, because the question was asked, that's why I said, don't think, what I'm saying is without any faults and personal prejudices. But my thing is, as a group, we all have to understand. That's my point. And to the topic of Brother Surya Kumar, about Sanskrit as a language, Swami has given it a lot of importance, and Swami has spoken about it a lot. Even to understand the Vedic concepts which Swami is talking, the English is a very poor medium of translation. And we also, if you dig deeper, you'll understand that the translations which are available have certain defects in them. But for a sincere seeker, there's enough material to benefit from. I'll just say that.
Sairam Brother, I have one question. So Swami said, I have come to re-establish the Sanatana Dharma. So within that, I was thinking Veda chanting and all comes under that, because those days people were, I don't know, maybe they were chanting, I thought, and now they have given up, and all like the Euro Union, all the Westerners are chanting more than the South Asians. So does Veda chanting come under Sanatana Dharma?
So it does. Yes, it is Sanatana Dharma. Swami, one of the goals, one of the targets Swami set up for him as part of the avatar is Veda Samrakshana, Veda Poshana, as Swami says. So the thing is, if we want to, even without reading any of Swami's discourse, even if we look at it just objectively with common sense, any subject, for it to be preserved, it has to be learned properly and passed on. For example, if you take any subject, take any science, if I want to preserve how medicine is practiced today, use the word medicine because everyone likes, will believe that, even if you take Western medicine, if I have not studied it properly and understood incorrectly, and I practice it and I teach that to others, over a period of time, that subject is bound to deteriorate. So the thing is, my point is, when Swami says, yes, I want you all to study, we should know how much time and effort we have to devote. See, for us to do practice a vocation, let's take medicine. People study for 6 years, then they do residency. Only then you are licensed to practice. And can you go and teach? No, for that you'll have to publish papers, you have to do research. Only then you'll be given a teaching post. So what I'm saying is, we need to apply the same level of rigor. Of course, if we don't have the time, then we should not attempt it. That's all my point is. If we are taking, if I say I am going to take this up as keeping up the Sanatana Dharma, then I have to go to the whole process. I have to study the right subjects, I have to find people, I have to learn, I have to devote a lot of time, and then I can do justice to that request of Swami. And sometimes some of these things, you have to start very early because it takes a lot of time for us to study. But there's no harm in studying. My point is not about anyone learning, anyone chanting at home as personal sadhana. Okay, their individual bhava, your devotion to God, intention, everything is fine. But when I'm going to practice in public, for example, you can do your own medicine at home and then say, Swami, you guide me. The only person who at all, if at all, will be harmed is ourselves. Maybe Swami will. But if still we tell Swami, we are going to do this job for you, then we have to really work really hard. We have to put in, we should, so how much time am I spending? Like if you go to full-time school for 6 years, you are spending like 10 hours a day studying subjects. And only then you can practice. Spirituality is a much, I mean, Vedic knowledge, lore is, people say you, at least 32 years it takes for you to learn the Vedas properly so that you can publicly practice it. So that was my point. Because I want, the serious should not be diluted, and we should not think that we are doing this to keep up Sanatana Dharma. That's my point. I will stop here. Even if you take Carnatic music, if you have not learned the music properly, can you start teaching? After some time, people are going to sing willy-nilly anything. And people, music itself will die. So any subject in this world is like that. So my point was, if we do not devote the amount of time, we should not publicly practice it, publicly chant it. That was my personal view. It's a personal view. And I will leave it at that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sairam. I just want to add one point here that Bhagavan inaugurated Prasanthi Vidwan Mahasabha with the Brahmins with the sole purpose of re-establishing Sanatana Dharma. So there are people, there are castes, there are people, and Bhagavan was giving all his support and enthusiasm, and so they are now doing, the Brahmins, they are learning Vedas more with more interest and everything. So Bhagavan's purpose is achieved through that. So there's no contradiction according to my thinking. So that's good, Brother Arnos. You told it very valid. We're very valid, and we value your words, and we'll think over it. Thank you very much.
So I think if no other thought, I mean, it's an unnecessarily controversial topic. I think people should not be, I think Sister Vasudha, you should understand, I think at personal level, anything is fine. And that's okay. So God will accept, because as long as we are doing it sincerely, it's fine. I think Swami has told that also. And actually people can do wonders with their personal sadhana. There's one place Swami talks about, there are 3 types of gurus, maybe on the same topic. Swami says, Arjuna is asking this question, it's in Gita Vahini, it's there. So he's asking, how do I learn? Do I learn from the Shastras? Do I learn from a guru? Or do I learn from someone who has practiced, benefited? 3 things, practical experience. And then Swami goes on to say, see, the person who has only practical experience but who has not studied it properly will not be in a position to explain it to somebody else. You need to have Shastra Jnana to be able to teach. But you may be in your practice, you may be living the entire essence of the Shastras. But that person will not be capable of teaching. Then the second person who has studied the Shastras but not who has experienced will be able to only transfer you bookish knowledge. He will not be able to give you the essence of the experience. So ideally, a person who has studied the Shastras and also experienced it will be able to deliver it to anyone in an intelligible manner. So that type of person only is the best to find. Shastras you can learn on your own, but you may not be very sure. But for all these 3, Swami says, you can rely on God and He will help you. He will help you at a personal level. That is fine. But that does not give us the mantle of propagating it and teaching others. That was the point. Swami has, if we for this we have to read the Vidya Vahini. There is Swami has written so much. I think not enough time even to read that. So that's all I would say. I don't want to belabor the point. People should not think I'm asking everyone to stop chanting. No, Swami wants us to make the effort. Sometimes when we are practicing something, we may be wrong, but only by repeated practicing, repeated listening, we can polish it up, and so I think that way also God, Swami himself will find ways to tell us what we are doing wrong, and we can always improve. So that much faith we should have in Swami, only for our personal sadhana. That's what I would say. Sai Ram.
So Sai Ram, I do chant Gayatri Mantra. So let's say I'm making some mistakes here and there. Won't God forgive me if I make any mistakes unknowingly? I want to focus on the meaning of God, my intellect, sharpen my intellect, and I want to rest my mind in God's feet. Like that, I'm thinking, and with good intention, I'm praying Gayatri chant. If I make any simple, not lyrics, but pronunciation or something, won't God forgive me? My beloved Swami or Murugan or Krishna, won't they forgive me? They are in my heart.
Sai Ram, this is Bhavani.
Can-
I feel if our intention is there, of course He will forgive us. However, how
you.
many of us, I think I speak for myself, I don't think sometimes my mind is not there. I'm chanting the words, it's very technical, it might come and go. My mind is like that. So for people like that or people like me, I think that if my intention is missed, then that's why I need to put in more effort in getting it right.
Yes, I am asking God to forgive me if I make any mistakes in my other prayers. But while driving, taking bath, and this and that, I am chanting God's name.
Yeah.
And if and when I make mistakes, do you think my friendly God will forgive me? Won't forgive me? No.
Yes, Sai Ram, that's not for personal sadhana. Brother said, for the personal sadhana, 100% okay. So when we recite outside, for example, English words, if I don't pronounce the English word correctly, so if I am talking a public talk, the new people, the fresh English learners will catch up my pronunciation and learn wrongly. So the outside, when we do for outside performance, whoever it is 1,000 times better to pronounce it correctly with the proper intonation and pronunciation so that the new learners get it correctly. So if I got it wrongly, it is very difficult to correct it later. That is our experience in English language, no? So it is always for personal sadhana, it is okay. There's no doubt. He said, God will forgive. God can do anything. He will forgive it. For the better propagation for the future generation, let us chant if we know correctly. That's it. Thank you, Sai Ram. Brother Suryaman, you understand?
I agree.
So,
I agree.
sorry.
Very
Sairam,
good, very good.
yeah, it's just Sairam. This is a question I had long time back. Intention, and I learned a lot that intention is very good. And I said, "Oh, Bhagwan, I can keep doing the wrong thing and saying my intention is good, right?" And it has happened many times. Your intention is good, and you hurt other people, but you said, "Why my intention was good," and the words didn't come out. And lo behold, I came across something which Bhagwan has said, that when you're on a spiritual path, you have to be very, very careful. It's like you're wearing white clothes because you are pure and there is a puddle, right? So you don't jump on it and say, you know what, it's okay, I am going, my intention is good. You have to be very careful. You pass that puddle. Otherwise, if there is some kind of, the dirt come on you because you step on it, you have to spend a lot of time to clean it. So that is one part I have learned, that if we know that
you know, there is a possibility of doing things wrong or chanting wrong. Why not learn the right way? And there was a time when I had a spiritual, boss, I would say, and he has told me, he said, there is a difference, Shivani. When somebody's sleeping, you can wake them up, but when somebody's pretending to sleep, you can't wake them. So if we pretend, okay, I don't know, but I'm chanting it, we will never be right. But if I know that, yes, the repercussion of this, why can't I learn the right way? Why I have to pretend my intention is good and I can continue doing it? Let me wake up. Let me learn the right way, not continue the same attitude. And that's what spirituality is all about. You progress, you learn, you do the T. Bhagavan said, be perfect like me, like how I am. Strive towards that because you are God. That's my 2 cents.
Sairam, I think the pronunciation is when we do in public, Brother Sivadas says the same thing. When we do it in public, we have to do the right way, the correct way. But not only Gayatri Mantra, my opinion is in study circle, we are saying the words like that day Brother Arul said, each words are like mantras. Like same thing we talk in public, in study circle, we have to use watch and our words and thing, the opinion and everything. Swami says something to teach and say other people Swami's teaching. We are introducing people here in study circle and they are in the line. I always think Swami is also one of the caller in the line. The same way everyone has to think when before they say the words, open the mouth. Swami says tongue is important part. Always think not only Gayatri Mantra, that is all the words what they speak in study circle in public, that is also very important in my opinion. Thank you, Saira.
Saira, I think we are all putting Brother Aruno in trouble. It's easy to ask question, but sometimes we have to make our own decision too, because everybody's path is different and Swami might have a different message for each person. So, brother, so why don't you share the discourse next study circle in the chat so everyone can read and make their own decision for themselves without any discussion? Or do you want to discuss the discourse?
So I think we will pause here. So we will circulate the discourses, but we may not take it up for study at the next study circle. But we have another Q&A session for the last week of November. At that time, we can take that topic up and any questions related to that. I hope if everyone is okay, we will start the Dhyana Vahini and then we will go from there. Okay.
Sairam is good. Yeah, I will start. Thank you.
Sairam, one little point I would like to bring, maybe only for those people, they are currently in part of this study circle, we understand what we should be doing and what would be the effect if we mispronounce the words or if we chant wrongly, what would be the outcome and this and that. In our the Sai spiritual circle or in Sai family, without knowing, I know maybe each center, quite a lot of people, every day they chant in the personal, that's fine, personal sadhana. But as a group, in several centers, in some special days, we also chant the Gayatri Mantra. So maybe if it is a very simple explanation, if it is circulated via the maybe region to spiritual, the mailbox, that would be if we go, as a person, maybe there are several members representing maybe each Sai center, but they may be thinking that is maybe, Anandi, that is your opinion and your point. We are not going to avoid that. Maybe in order to benefit from the discussion we all have had, now I understand, after all these, discussion, and right now I understand thoroughly what Brother Aruno said in the beginning, because even a little bit of the mispronunciation, it would give a really different meaning. But if that is the way we are going to ask God, they give me the intellect. If we mispronounce, that may mean that don't give me intellect. That is very wrong, and it would affect me in an opposite way. Now I thoroughly understand why we should avoid and they maybe even in a public forum or even in the center level, that is in a public venue. Many people, they would be coming to the centers and all would be listening, and maybe some sort of I know there is a little dilemma to provide this opinion and this and that, but at least some sort of guidance to very gently or very generally give out some sort of little guidance to those people or to those centers as a spiritual wing. If the spiritual wing would be able to do something as a personal level, I think it's a really good idea. Otherwise, the benefit we all have had, and they also they should benefit from this discussion. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam sister, we will take that up as a suggestion. We'll consider what we can be done. We have attempted in the past to conduct Sanskrit classes, but that didn't go very far for too long. It means for anyone interested, I think something can be arranged with Swami's grace, I'm sure. We will see. We'll take it seriously and consider, because there's interest for people to learn. So we will try to do something. So we have to have a structured approach, because otherwise, just the way Sister Vasudha was telling in Bengal, people are chanting like this. After some time, people play in the Sathya Sai organization. This is the way people chant Vedas. We should not come to that situation. That's all I would say. And that's fine. We will take it up, and I think we'll take it offline and come up with some plan. In the meantime, we will circulate the discourses which we can take up. I think everyone can read and think and contemplate on it, and we can have a session on it last week of November. We will go on to the next question. Sister Dushi, you can read it.
Yes. Swami has said that Gayatri can be chanted by anyone, anywhere and anytime. Nowadays in Toronto, even in funeral homes and cremation places, people chant this. Is this correct?
The question is a good one, but I don't know. I will prefer not to answer. Because the reason is it will become my opinion. See, the thing is, we have already discussed what's chanted in public and private. So, if I'm sitting there and chanting Gayatri, it is up to me. Okay, so Gayatri is not the only thing which Swami has talked about. Swami has talked about the Ramanama, Swami has talked about the Namah Shivaya, Swami has talked about, but we all like to take something very complicated. It's like many people who come to sing bhajans, they won't take simple bhajans. They will take very complicated bhajans because they have heard somebody sing and it's nice, so they would like to sing it. But that's why he said we should always go with what. So I'm not going to say whether it's right or wrong. But the Brahmins would say it's wrong. That's all I can say. But Swami says you can chant any place, anywhere. No bar. Time is not a bar. Place is not a bar. That Swami has very clearly said. So I'm not going to comment further on this. If anyone has something to say, you can say. Otherwise, we move on.
Something in the chat room that Brother Sitaram has shared.
Yeah, please read, please.
Sairam, caste has never been a condition for Swami in terms of Sanatana Dharma. I have been part of Swami's Atirutta Mahayagna Students Vedam group and have seen that all are not Brahmins and few are non-Indians too. He told us practice is most important part in Vedas, and he used to personally monitor our Vak Suddhi, quality of pronunciation. So we must be careful if we have taken it up for sure. And of course, he encouraged to learn the meaning behind those Vedas too as well. All now, thank you.
I think this is the comment for my opinion regarding my Prasanthi Vidvan Mahasabha with Brahmins. Yeah, that's we'll go agree with Siddharam's comments that what we need to know is the correct pronunciation. Whether we need not be a Brahmin, but we have to know the stuff correctly. Thank you, Saira.
So thank you very much. We'll go on to the next question.
Sorry, I just wanted to quickly say,
Yes.
I think this is one of the most controversial mantras in general in Hinduism. There's so many sort of different takes on it. There's like, oh, women should not be chanting and it should not be chanted loudly. It is only supposed to be whispered in the ear, and not during death or sickness, all kinds of things. But in general, if something is very controversial, it's because it's also very popular and appealing, right? So ultimately, I think if you feel good, gives you good vibrations on a personal level, go ahead and do it, is what I'm thinking in the end with this. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Thank you.
Sairam, I will have a small thing, because when the pregnant woman will chant the mantra Sri Rudram, she chanting without taking the breath. It's affected child in the womb. They won't get oxygen. That's why they protect not to chant. Ladies mostly some here and there, because the Haramaya from the Rochester Temple, he explained why don't there's some restriction on the ladies because of this one. When the Sri Rudram, there's some word come very long time without stopping. Sairam.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Sairam is, I think this topic today, one of the questions and everything is for good, Swami's grace. So some people can learn, Sanskrit. I also like to learn. This is for good thing. I think is Swami bring it up. I think it's good, positive way. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, sister. We will go to the next question. Sister, Auntie Mani is online. I think I was Mani Auntie. Would you like to comment on the last week's questions? I think she's muted.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, Auntie, please go ahead. And just so that I will introduce Mani Auntie to a few people here. She may know. She's joining us from London, Ontario. She has been a devotee of Swami for I don't know, 60, 70 years, I guess, and one of the old-time devotees. She addressed our retreat, I think our Regent's retreat last year, and I think she is known by the circle of Swami's devotees as the one who Swami blessed, and she composed the Paramam Pavitram, the Vibhuti mantra. So she is with us today, and she had some comments from the last week's question, so I will ask her to share her thoughts, please. Thank you very much, Auntie. Please go ahead.
Particularly any question about I think I was expressing my opinion about rituals last time.
Okay, Auntie, please go ahead.
Yeah, rituals are just like they are a part and parcel of our sadhana. First step, how we get on to a ladder, that's very necessary before reaching up to the greatest level of sadhana. We have to start with bhajans, readings of Swami's literature, and then satsangs. So all these are very necessary. Puja, worship, everything is very necessary for beginners. But we should not stop with it. Go beyond it. Go beyond all these rituals and try to find out that consciousness where Swami wants us to be there. Merge ourselves with that consciousness. So ritual, mostly people what they do is they stop with rituals. I did this puja, I did this archana, I did this abhishekam. Everything is necessary, but once when you reach a certain height, I think these become real, not very necessary for us to do the particular sadhana. You have reached that stage. Once you reach that stage, not before that. That's what I think I was. And when you get on to the ladder, when you reach the highest rung of the ladder, you don't need the ladder. You just kick it off. So that's how Swami always says about rituals. I think I was expressing about this.
Okay.
And now regarding the particular question which is going on now, funeral homes and cremation grounds where it's a sacred mantra. It's a sacred mantra. It should be respected. Swami says, of course, anyone, anywhere, anytime you can do. But there are certain places where, you know, you don't feel clean and good about yourself, the surroundings. So it should be, the mantra itself is such a highly commendable this thing mantra for us to do our sadhana. I think, my opinion, it should be recited in a very clean and neat and a place where you are you have taken your personal bath and other things, and Shuddha atmosphere, pure atmosphere should be there to recite all these things, so that the effect of mantra, Gayatri mantra or whatever mantra we do, it should be it should give us benefit. That's what I feel. Arun. Saira.
Okay, thank you very much, Auntie.
Okay. You can go to another question.
Okay, next question. We'll go to the next question, Sister Doshi.
Yeah. Nothing can happen without Swami's will. How is all this evil happening around us globally? Who is benefiting? There are some people who criticize Swami himself and ridicule Swami's devotees. How is Swami allowing that to happen?
Okay, so these are a few questions. 3 questions to be clear, I guess. So 2 questions. 3. Anyone can comment, please. I'm not going to. I think I spoke a lot today, so I will rest myself a little bit. Others can comment on this. Why is all this evil happening around us, and why is Swami allowing it to happen?
No, I say small comment, because when I want to change my car battery, my mechanic said I had to go to him. I want to change my. He said, unplug the minus, -1 first, then the plus. I said, what is that? He said, my negative is very powerful. If you don't remove that one, unplug the plus, it's going to burst or something, give severe damage. I really got scared. I said, what is that? Plus positive is very good. How come you say that? He said, this is very, very powerful, -1. That's what is happening, I guess. I don't know. That day I got the teaching through like this incidents. I don't know the rest you can explain, Sairam.
Yes, Sahiram, brother. Anyone else would like to say thoughts?
Nobody need criticize Swami or ridicule Swami's devotees. What is happening is global thing. We have pandemic which is happening. It's all our own doing. We were in such a hurry and we abused the atmosphere. We abused the prakriti. We have taken advantage of all the things which were available to us by given by the nature. We abused it and now we are suffering. That's all. No one can. We have our own responsibility in this matter. We should have been more careful. We practiced all malpractices. So the result is now we are suffering. That's all. No one to be blamed. no Swami's devotees, nor Swami himself. Saira.
Sai Ram. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please?
Sai Ram, my 2 cents. In our old Tamil proverb, Purananuru, Nandrum Thedum Puradara Vara. It's not others who gives us good and bad. It's by us. It's our response, by our actions. It's our karma, in my view. Good karma and bad karma. Punya and Pava. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts?
Sai Ram, the public or non-devotees will say anything they want, but I think as devotees, we need to be strong and not let that affect us. It's easy to blame God when things are going wrong, but we never think of blaming Him when things are going right. Okay, so good and bad, I think like Auntie Mani said, we as collective mankind did this to ourselves.
Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please? So, okay, when if no one is saying, maybe I'll say, actually, this question was discussed by us during the Sandeha Nivarana study circle. I think it's chapter 2, if I remember correctly, where the devotee comes to Swami and says, he was so upset that, people are saying bad things about Swami. So actually that chapter has all the answers where Swami has spoken about. I'm talking about the second part of the question, where people criticize. Swami says sometimes the moth does not know what is expensive, what is not expensive. Its nature is to cut through or eat through anything. So that's the way certain people in this world have come. And they are just exhibiting their nature. Not necessarily it's either good or bad for them. But I think we need not be affected by it, because Swami says, if you know something, what they are saying is not correct, so you don't have to worry about it. If they say something which is correct, and then if we decide that we have to improve ourselves, then we improve. So these are things which go on in life. That's number one, second part of the question. The first part, which is saying about Swami's will and how all this evil is happening to us all. See, I would like to link this with the Gayatri mantra and what Auntie Mani was saying. See, the mantras which are actually generators of electricity, power. Okay. See, one of the reason the environment in which we speak should be clean in terms of our own bhava and the people who are listening. That is like you're using a large amount of electricity into a place, and if there are any leakages, anything like that, something harmful can result, because you are injecting so much of energy into that place. But without that energy, nothing works. That's why God's energy is the one which makes everything in this world happen. That's why Swami gives a lot of importance to Sama and Dhamma, which is basically control of the inner organs and external organs. Swami says, because without that, you cannot enter into the field of spirituality. That kind of discipline is needed. So the reason why things are happening is because the discipline is lacking. But then we may think, why is it affecting us? I think for that, Brother Surya Kumar has already said, if some bad thing is happening and I am able to, I'm witnessing it, it is my own karma which made me witness it. Because I must have done something in my past life or something like that. Because of that, I'm forced to witness something so negative and I'm unable to do anything about it. So I think sometimes if we have to witness something negative or bad, or even experience evil nature of other people, maybe we may have something to learn from it, and I think that's why it happens. But even great devotees like Prahlada have gone through so much challenges. His own father was evil, So, you know, for example, so I think the evil nature has been around for as long as man has been around, either within a person or around a person. That's my understanding. So I'll stop here. The others can comment with side. I see if there's no other questions, no other comments. If there's any question among the participants, please speak up. I think a few participants said they had questions and they would like to ask. Please go ahead. Because we have run out of questions which were sent.
Oh, Sairam, I don't know, because the 9 planets are now the straight line or something, the people are sending message by message, chanting the mantra, this mantra, that mantra. I said, Swami, when you open the, I think Shivam in the Bombay, when he say all the planets are in my hand, once you have flow me, not to worry about the planets. That's a, please explain about that, Saira. The people make and more confident about that, so that Saira.
Okay. See, anyone else, you know, I will ask anyone else to comment on that, please, before I jump in. So thing is, see, this world, the grahas are doing their job. They're just like nature, you know. They just are doing what they have been divined by God to do. So the grahas are going about doing their job. I think what Swami's point is, he's the one who has employed them. And if their energy is going to affect us, yes, they will have some effect because of our own karmas will come to fruition by these planets. Like we have planted the seeds of our own karma, and based on the light from any of these planets come, energy, you know, their rays, our seeds will start growing. So that's what is happening. So the one problem is, I think, our seeds. The second one is the rays which the grahas are sending. Why Swami said that was people have now become so, see, we always think the problem is outside us. If something happened to us, we think somebody outside. So we think because of the grahas we are suffering. Swami will say, no, grahas alone is not the problem. You are also a problem. So, but the thing is, if you depend on me, if you clean yourself and you become a great devotee, then I will tell my employees, you know, just leave him alone. So the thing is, forgetting that Swami is their boss. Even if we have to complain to somebody, no need to run after the grass. Complain or pray to the one who is employing them. So the planets are just sending their rays and they're moving around in the orbit in which God has set them in motion. Just the way sun is going around. Even if we say winter is coming, Swami will do something about it and cry. Swami will say, what is the problem? You have chosen to go to a place where there's going to be snow. Then what do you want me to do? Okay, at least pray to me, I will help you out. Because I can't change, you know, the snow from, I can't wish the snow away. Because the sun has moved southwards, there's a lot of snow here. We are going to come soon, you know. So I think that's the way the grahas are. But Swami does not want us to be so scared of the grahas and, you know, people running here and there and telling, because of the grahas I am suffering. So I mean, say, no, if you have my anugraha, the grahas don't have any part. But to get to Swami's anugraha, we have to purify ourselves, we have to live the way he wants us to. Then, of course, the grahas have nothing to do. Absolutely, that is my understanding, but I will leave it for anyone else to comment on it, please. Sayam.
Hello.
Yes.
Now we were discussing about Graha, and then some people will go to these Joshis and Brahmins and they say, you do this puja, you do that puja. It will appease the Graha and the marital effect will not be there. But will not be whatever we face, though we do puja to that graha to appease the graha, but still won't it be like the karma we have done that will make us good fruit or bad fruit? I mean, good coming or bad coming?
Yes, Auntie, I think you have, thank you very much.
No, I want to hear from you.
Okay, so that's why I said, there are two things. See, if the sun is coming up, if the rain is coming, there are weeds growing in our backyard. Nothing wrong with the rain. So we have allowed the seeds of weeds to be in our backyard, so the weeds are growing. So the rain will do its own job. So, but if we plant good seeds, good karma, then we will have good plants growing. But instead of planting good seeds, people are running around saying, how can we stop the rain? How can we, cover? But that problem will not go away, because today you can hold umbrella, then tomorrow again it rains, then you have to run for an umbrella again. So ultimately we have to look at the seeds which we are planting. And Swami says, plant the seeds of devotion, plant the seeds of good deeds. Then even when the rain falls, which is just like the grahas, what you have planted only will grow. So I think we have to, that was Swami's point. So you look at yourself and realize you plant me in your own heart. So once Swami is planted, hopefully all our bad qualities will vanish and our karma will be all good. Then the grahas have absolutely no effect. I think that is my understanding. But we can't take a shortcut and say, Swami, we will do whatever we want, but we are your devotees. We are sincerely praying to you. Please do something.
No, not blaming or asking to escape the karma. What I had in my mind doubt is, would just doing like yajnas or prayers like that, not to Swami, of course, prayer to Swami is something very different about this graha and all, or chanting bij mantra of the grahas. Is there any use?
They are supposed to be effective, sister or auntie. That's why the mantras have come. But the thing is, that is only for people who are worldly minded, as Swami says. If you want a particular thing, Swami gives the example of ministers. He says, if you want something related to agriculture, you go to the Minister of Agriculture. And you can sort out. You go to the Ministry of Agriculture, talk to the minister, maybe you'll get something done. So that agriculture problem will go away. Then you can, if you have an education related problem, go to the Minister of Education, and you can get something done. That is the way the planets are. But then Swami says, if you know the Prime Minister, everyone is under his. So you go. It's better to go after the Prime Minister than go into each individual ministry. But the Vedas are full of. See, because different people are at different levels, and to go to the Prime Minister, you have to. It's a spiritual path completely.
Yeah.
So, but if people want something, we can put an application to the individual ministry through different mantras, different yagas, yajnas. And I think the Puranas are full of stories where people have appealed to various powers or gods, and they have come to their help. So I think that is possible. But Swami says, don't go after this worldly success and problems. Leave everything to and come to me. That's the message he has come with. That is my understanding. So, but I think they are effective. Yajnas and yagas are effective. But I don't know. You have to get different.
Just one small question again. I heard they said this Guru Graha, that planet Guru, is very good in all respect, even for the spirituality. So without expecting anything, not that I want this or that, just chanting a mantra, does it help? That means to grow the mind or.
Yes, I mean, according to astrology, we should not. I don't want to go into that topic, but yes, planet Guru is considered the most benefic planet.
Yeah,
he will always help us progress, like a teacher. But
too.
Yes, but the teachers can be sometimes giving some tough lessons also.
Right.
So Guru also, there are times when he gives some tough lessons.
Okay.
But it may not be all smooth, but we are definite. I think we can be guaranteed of progress. I think many people pray to Brahaspati Guru. Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. And Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Any questions, please? It's 4:50 already.
Sai Ram, I don't have any questions, but I would like to thank all the people, all the study circle, the participants and everybody. But in my opinion of the past study circle in this pandemic time is very good for everyone, say help us and everything. In the meantime is some of the people I bring in the because of the Zoom thing, not participate from the Sai Center, from yoga group and other thing, and they also come and joined. And some review from them was, when we talk and do, sometimes some participant talk too long, takes some time. Sometimes when they ask questions, is taking so long to talk and things like that. Some people that comments for on behalf of them, I am submitting that comments too. Other than that, we will keep on doing, and thank you for all participants, and thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you for your comments, sister. I think I'm one of the persons who feel guilty about talking too much. We will try to keep it short and concise. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you.
No, Sai Ram, not you, but I also got some feedback, and we have to be precise, the question. So if we can put the question very precisely, there will be more time for others to comment and think over it. That's the thing. Not about your explanation. That's something told me too, that. So that's what I now reduced. Only. Okay, thank you, Sai Ram. Yeah. At the same time, the Mani Aunty was talking about the Brahaspati Guru. So that's what Bhagavan wanted Thursdays to be his day. Even Sri Sai and Sathya Sai, they selected Thursday for our prayer. So that it looks like that is Thursday when we do prayer to God. Guru also bless us. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, I just wanted to add one more comment to our study circle. Currently, what we are coming to study circles to study from and learn from each other. So the discussion not supposed to be limited. It's supposed to be coming out from everyone. But I think repeating the same thing maybe we can avoid. But whatever the currently that we are discussing, especially from Arun, whatever the information that we are getting, that is the best thing we are learning from the study circle. I don't think that should affect any ways on this study circle, please. Thank you, Sai Ram and Brother Sivadas. We have to contribute a lot more. We learn from everybody. So I don't think that part shouldn't be taken out. That you have to look at it positively, Brother Sivadas. We have to talk a lot more now. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you, Sai Ram.
See, I think, Sai Ram, Sister Ananthi, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, I also want to add to the study circle. We all come to learn together. So if it is like a simple question and answer, that's the one. For that purpose, we have. Now we have decided maybe at the end of 2 months or 3 months, we would be having a question and answer period. But for the other sessions, as a moderator, definitely Brother Aruno and the Brother Sivadas, they have to they have to coordinate and comment to those people's the points and those things. That's why there shouldn't be any limit or anything, Brother Aruno and the brother Sivadas as moderators or coordinators. That's one point. The other one, if you restrict the time and the, if it's like a one little question and the answer, then people, they won't be encouraged to speak about. Everybody thinks that maybe my question is long, my question is short, whether it makes sense. Maybe in the beginning of this study circle, we have to encourage. I know, because maybe only a very few people, each session may be contributing. Maybe if more people are coming to the forum, then maybe at least each one would be given a chance for that day. That kind of the ideas or opinion on my part. Thank you, Saira.
Thank
you
you.
very much.
That's good. Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please? Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. The study circle, Swami has purposely set it up as a study circle, where all of us means at the same level, in terms of growth, and each of us have some differences. We have our own way of communicating. Not everyone, maybe able to say everything concisely. And sometimes we get carried away by what we are saying also, I guess. So I think one of the things which we all learn, I guess, is to listen to others. I think in this world, one of the biggest problem in all conflicts is sometimes we don't have patience to listen to others. So hopefully, we develop that, even though that is not the main intention of the study circle. But I think we will try to moderate and, help out and make the process go smoother. We'll try our best. Thank you very much, everyone. I think it's time up. We will close for the day with the Samastaloka and Shanti Shanti. Thanks for coming and thanks for taking part. We will continue. We'll begin the Dhyana Vahini next Sunday, and we'll. Okay, Sai Ram, everyone.
Sai Ram.
Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ram.